Hello and welcome to a short review of the Hornby Dublo A4 Golden Fleece. The locomotive comes packed in this absolutely wonderful Hornby Dublo box. I really love the artwork done on the top. The earlier Hornby Dublo boxes were blue, the later two-rail ones were red. The engine is just packed inside the cardboard tray. There's really not a lot of super detail to break on this model, so it doesn't really need much in terms of protection. I actually have two of these engines. The one on the left is Silver King, and it's not in anywhere near as good a condition. The one on the right is the Golden Fleece. So this tooling is very old. It dates back to 1938. So Hornby Dublo in the late 30s released Sir Nigel Gresley in LNER Blue. And in the postal period they made these engines in BR Green. And those are the two I have. So Silver King is the early one. It's actually it's a three-rail engine, so I can't run it. And that would date to about, if I had to guess, 1955 or 1956. Hornby Dublo introduced two-rail in 1959, and that ran until 1965, I believe, so that's about how old Golden Fleece is. So upon first impressions, this model is absolutely stunning. Certainly it is not great in terms of detail, but I don't think that's why people would buy a loco like this. It is a very charming and old-fashioned model. The entire thing is, well, almost the entire thing is metal. The body is die-cast, the tender is tin plate, about the only plastic on it is the coal. And I think it is an absolutely wonderful model. There is a separately fitted metal whistle in front of the chimney, and on the number board you can see there's a transfer that has the engine's running number, which is sadly started to come away, which is a bit of a shame. There's a very chunky looking separately fitted coupling hook, and there are some buffers that are not sprung. The name is very nicely printed upon the side, and there's also a very nice separately fitted handrail. One of the other things that you see on these early models is that the only metal wheels tended to be the ones that picked up, so those front pony wheels are completely plastic. The valve gear is all very chunky looking on this model, and the rods are not fluted, which is a shame, but again, it's one of those things I can quite easily forgive because this model is ancient. Certainly, as I said, the tooling dates back to the 30s, and I believe the last time they updated it was the early 50s. There is a builder's plaque on the cab, but it is not painted, which is a shame, and I do think it's one of those things they probably could have done at the factory, is add a bit of brass coloured or gold coloured paint just to make it stand out. There is no cab detail at all. There's not even a boiler backhead to hide the motor. However, if you just look underneath, there is that lovely Meccano Limited sort of logo, and that's just like a nice little feature that I do quite like. The tender is tin plate, like a lot of early Hornby Dublo rolling stock. In fact, I'm going to run this with some tin coaches in a moment. The coal load is the only thing that is plastic on this model. The earlier ones, sort of the 30s to the 50s ones, they had, I believe it's acetate coal, like the old Triang models, because it used to warp, so I think it's acetate because that's how that plastic goes. And when you see them on the internet, sometimes you do see them like that. Mine hasn't warped, so I don't know if they swapped that plastic out. I know Triang moved away from that plastic at the tail end of the 50s for that reason. There's a quick look in the internals of the locomotive. I believe that motor is an early Ringfield. Certainly I know a lot of the Hornby Dublo locos that they made in the later years did have Ringfield motors. I paid £160 for this model in about November of last year. Now, I didn't just get this. I got several coaches, several wagons, and several other engines. It was in a job lot on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm feeling super happy with the value I got there. I've been tidying all the items I got up, and I'm hoping to show those off in some videos over the coming months. So I'm quite happy with all the engines I got. This was the star of the show. It is in fairly nice condition. The box is very tatty, but the engine itself seems to have survived all right. So Golden Fleece on its own, I've seen that. I just had a quick look before I made the video. On eBay, I've seen them go anywhere from £70 to sort of £120. So, 70 will be your lower end engines that maybe aren't in so good a condition. 120 will be your super pristine examples. I absolutely love this model. It's a lot of fun, and when you pick it up, it's got a very good feeling to it because it's all die-cast. It's quality that you just don't see anymore. And I can see why there are people that are super serious about Hornby Dublo collecting. I used to be really into try-and collecting. Now I just sort of collect a bit of everything. Anyway, if you're looking for something that's very prototypical and will look great on your layout, this is not the answer. You can spend your money on a fairly nice model in the same price range. With all the stuff available to date. But if you want a model that is just generally a lot of fun, I can't recommend this thing enough. It is a really nice model, and it is sort of a look back into the history of the hobby. Now time for some running.